When I was a little girl, if someone had told me that I could put all the people I ever met into the back pocket of my jeans, along with the pristine pine cones and the strange rocks, that I could ask any question from the universe and receive an answer, that I could turn sand and silicone, boron and phosphorus, syntax and semicolons into code, into tiny little universes that influence the world, I would have blast with excitement. What magic! Today, we have technology available for us. We have computers, tablets, mobile phones, all available for us. And technology, it has become profoundly unmagic. My name is Liukas. I'm a children's book author, illustrator, and programmer from Helsinki, Finland, who grew absolutely tired of the technology world we see today. I started to follow my own curiosity, and I wanted to create a future of technology that looks a little bit more creative and curious. In this talk, I'm going to talk about the principles I use to structure my work. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about how places influence the way we see technology. And then finally, I'm going to share a little bit how all of this has to do with the short story you're telling about your future. As mentioned, I'm a picture book maker, an illustrator whose books have been published in over 30 languages. My job is to make the abstract and complex ideas of computer science, like DDoS attacks or unstructured learning or algorithms, understandable and approachable for the small kids among us. My journey into the world of computer science got started when out of one of my own computer science books leapt out a little girl called Ruby. And I followed her on an adventure to help the next generation of children see code as a tool of self-expression, as a tool of creation, just like Legos or crayons or Play-Doh is for the previous generations. So the work I do might look like this. Sometimes I wonder how computers work. What kind of computers are out there? Who made the computer? How the internet works? What is graph theory? And how packet switching is changing the world. I'm trying to make all of this exciting and fun for the next generation. And inspired by Montessori method, I'm trying to make the abstract concepts of computer science something that can be understood by the children. Not only because it's interesting, but because it is highly, intensely creative. It is something that our children should learn to see as a part of their learning journey. Computer science, it blends the beauty of arts and maths. It blends the precision of logic to the social sciences and its world-changing ethos. And I think all of this is important because more and more our world is turning into computers. The technologies around us, they are really shaping the way we consume food, the way and kinds of friendships we have, the entertainment we consume. But it's important to notice that actually technologies have existed everywhere around us for a long time. Cars are technology, oil is technology, electricity is technology. And the way we understand the future of technology is by looking at these moments when we make computer science and technology approachable for everyone. The next thing I want to talk about is how place has to do with all of this. It's funny, I come from Helsinki, Finland, and often we think that digital doesn't have an influence of the place, but that couldn't be further away from the truth. Actually, the kind of technology we build is highly influenced by the kind of place we live in. If you think about Los Alamos, if you think about the atomic bomb and the first computer, those were influenced by the places and people of that era. If you think about California, if you think about the hippie movement and the Macintosh computer, again, places influence technology. And finally, if you think about Finland, our long cold winters and the working reliable Nokia phones, again, influenced by places. And Our love for technology in Finland, it runs really deep. We are a country that is stable and safe, and it means that here you can actually build technology that benefits everyone without having to worry too much about someone stealing your idea. It means that an unproportionate amount of the open source technologies of the world come from Helsinki and Finland in general. Think of MySQL, SSH, Linux, IRC, Git. All come from this tiny, tiny country of 5 million people. Another aspect that I find really exciting about our engineering and technology culture is the way we make technology that just works. Finland is not a place for the high visionaries necessarily. We appreciate technology that is functional, that solves a real-world problem. In the words of the self-efficacy Linus Torvalds, the father of Linux, he says, "I am not a visionary, I'm an engineer. I'm happy with the people who are wandering around looking at the stars, but I am looking at the ground around, and I want to fix the pothole before I fall in." That is the beauty of Finnish technology culture, and that means it's a great place to build technology. But I would be cheating if I didn't also talk about the other side of Finland. When I think about Finland, I think about our universal healthcare, our amazing free educational system, our reasonable working hours, our paid vacations, the way government helps families, whether they are mothers or fathers, the way Helsinki is situated between 8 hours to Shanghai and 8 hours to New York. I think about our quiet cities. I think about our clean forests. I think about the well-functioning kitchen scissors and our playgrounds that allow children to play, not only compete. I believe the bedrock, the foundation of Finland is about equity, equality, and excellence. And it makes it a wonderful place for a young, ambitious person to be working in. Because throughout the history, there have been these hubs of genius everywhere around us, from Athens to London to Florence, that have had a specialty. In Athens, it was philosophy. In Florence, it was painting. In London, it was plays. And while Finland might not be the most exciting hotspot in the world, I do think that our regional specialty, which in my opinion is play, progress, and programming, makes it a really exciting place to be for the upcoming decades. Any young person who wants to be meaningful, wants to be doing meaningful stuff in the world, should live in the Nordics. The final part of my talk has to do with stories, because I would be cheating if I didn't share you how stories influence the way we see the world. After all, Finland, it's not a country, it's a story. Technology is not about innovation, it's also a story. Stories, they help us see ourselves, to understand each other, and form the world around us. And often we see the world of technology as something that just fell out of the sky. But really, technology, it's a mix, it's a complex braid of unfinished ideas, humans, their imagination, and their stories that coalesce and blend for decades until they form something we today might call AI, wearable devices, or the computer. And I think we need more narratives and more stories in this world. We need the big luminaries of computer science to inspire us, those of Claude Shannon and Ada Lovelace, who blended the joy of arts and mathematics, who blended logic and electricity to take the future onwards. And we need that to happen in Rio de Janeiro, in Mumbai, and in Helsinki. Stories shape the way we see the world, and computers are as much creatures of thought, of our imagination, as they are about technologies. Finally, a few weeks ago, I asked on Twitter, what is something people find more magical the more they look into it? And I got some really lovely, fascinating answers. People told things like love, my children, consciousness, bees, maple syrup, the common sense. And no one mentioned technology. And it makes sense. We fall out of love with technology. But for me, technology, code, and the ability to create something out of nothing is still a mystery. It's still a magic trick. It's still a doorway. And it's still a story. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Linda, for a truly inspirational talk there. I really like the idea that you asked Twitter what makes you tick and what are the inspirational stories there. You said that people tend to fall out of love with technology. But when we look at all around us, technology seems to be marching on and on, regardless.
Yeah.
So where do you see the human in that? What's the added, if you will, the added value of human beings in the era of artificial intelligence or technology?
I'm going to input a little bit of Finnish pragmatism here with
Brilliant.
the inspiration from Linus Torvalds. So I think what Finnish engineers do best is they create hope. And a lot of the narratives we are told around technology, they either have to do with dystopias or utopias. So either we are blindly optimistic or blindly pessimistic about the future. But hope is a funny thing. It lives somewhere between the certitude and the certainty of pure optimism and pure pessimism. And that's what I feel like the Finnish technology culture, humanity, and our whole society can offer the future. A hopeful idea about what the future of artificial intelligence and humanity can look like.
That's a really lovely thought. Technology actually providing hope.
Yes.
Linda, Liukas, thank you very much.
Thank you.